Hey guys, what's up? Brent Kalmer from Blue Water VST, and I want to talk to you today about using Rhythmaker's drum synthesizer in a DAW environment. Now, Rhythmaker is really a diamond in the rough in the REAKTOR Factory library. It was included in the Electronic Instruments Volume 1 package a few years back, and it is a drum synthesizer, which means that it synthetically creates these hits. The result is very pure, very kind of captivating and punchy sound. So let's audition this and hear how it sounds. Get some deep sub basses and kind of drone textures there. A lot of interesting snapshots in here. And you see from the ensemble that it consists of a variety of parts. Now we have our individual synthesizers down here that create the kick, snare, percussion 1 and 2, and toms 1 through 4. We have a mixer at the top, and then we have this sequencer here below the mixer, which allows us to sequence the hits individually or as a group using this view. Now this is quite practical for use in REAKTOR standalone. But once you get into using it in a DAW environment, it becomes a little bit more problematic because in a DAW we want to be able to send MIDI information directly to Rhythmaker to make use of its hits. But if we have a sequencer that is already sending information, it creates kind of a chaotic jumble of sounds. So what I've done here is opened up an Ableton live set, and I have loaded one of Ableton's factory projects, which is in the clips folder. Now this is Live 8. I haven't upgraded yet. And this is a project called Straight Hop 135 BPM. So I've loaded this up just by double clicking on it. And what that does is it loads a drum rack that hosts a bunch of different Ableton operators. So like Rhythmaker, these are synthetic sounds. And here's how this sounds. So you get it's kind of a mellow, laid-back, but someone's synthetic-sounding hip-hop groove. What we're going to do here is bring in an instance of REAKTOR, and we're going to place it right next to our operator, our drum rack. And then I'm going to go to my plugins folder and drag REAKTOR onto my new MIDI track. I'm going to load up Rhythmaker. And then I am going to go back to my Ableton drum rack. I'm going to click on this top clip. I am going to hold down Shift and click on the bottom clip so that I've highlighted all of these. And then I want to hold down Option and drag these over to my REAKTOR track so that I have the same clips over here on REAKTOR. And then what I'm going to do, for the purpose of A-Bing these two kits, is assign the REAKTOR track to the A side of the crossfader and the Ableton drum rack to the B side. So that will allow us to use this crossfader to move between these over here at the bottom right. And now if I get this clip going, playing through REAKTOR, now bear in mind we have a MIDI clip now and we also have the sequencer, we hear this chaotic jumble. We don't want that. We just want to be able to communicate with Rhythmaker using these MIDI clips. So what we're going to do is enter REAKTOR's edit mode by clicking on this structure icon to the left of the snapshot field. And then I'm going to go to this checkbox, which is our properties tab. I'm going to go to the Rhythmaker I'm going to go to function, and then I'm going to click on the sequencer, and this will bring up the the specific settings for the sequencer. And now what I want to do is just mute this, and this will basically put the sequencer on the sideline. It'll get it out of the way so that we can just use these MIDI clips. And now when we get this going, here's what we hear. So it's much more similar to this, right? As I move the crossfader across. But you notice something, which is that the hits they're not really assigned to the same kind of thing. So we have something that appears to be a snare here, and if I audition this by clicking on this headphone icon, I can hear what each of these are by playing the keys on the piano roll. Now that appears to be more of a snare sound, or sounds like more of a snare sound, so I'm going to click on this and use my arrow key to push it down one. And this is kind of an echo wood block. I'm going to move this down to something that's more like a hat. That'll do for now. So you have to have, with Rhythmaker, you have to have your hits between C1 and G1. Outside of that range, you're not going to, nothing will be activated. And then when we get this going, so that's kind of more on point. Now the really cool part about this is that now we have access to all of Rhythmaker's snapshots and all of its synth settings. So if I go down to, say, Miracleam, which is snapshot 20, we have a nice kind of biting hat sound, some nice subs with that kick, and we have just a whole variety of different things that we can use here. Now some of these are really far out there and have these long drones. Oh, that is awesome. That low boom. And of course you can crossfade to kind of A-B these. So that will allow you to use all of Rhythmaker's stunning sounds in a DAW environment with MIDI clips as you normally set up, and it takes a sequencer out of your way. Now in the next section we will take a look at packaging Rhythmaker inside one of Ableton's instrument racks and kind of setting up some interesting parameters and giving us some accessibility at the level of live and make this even more fun. So I hope you've enjoyed this. You should definitely check out Rhythmaker. As I said, it's really a diamond in the rough in the REAKTOR Factory content, and it's just a ton of fun to use. So take care, guys. Talk to you again soon.